Coach Matt Calkins with the Columbian. You've had success at multiple programs now. You coached Wesley Matthews at Marquette.
Mm-hmm.
So now that there's a coaching vacancy with the Blazers, I imagine it's just a matter of time before we see you here in Portland full time.
Well, I think Tim Buckley already told Bob that he is not a candidate for the Portland Trailblazers job, right? So, no, it's we leave the declarations of not being involved in jobs to John Calipari, not me. So. And I told him I was going to say that, so I talked to him today. I don't get a chance to talk to many, but we were sharing notes. I say that in complete jest and with respect,
Coach, obviously I'm an Indiana Daily student. Maurice Creek is the guy who's had to sit through this magical season, obviously on the sidelines, and then last night he's in the civilian seats. What was that like for him last night, and then what has it been like for him for the whole season?
It's a great question. I'll tell you what. I hate that. If there was one thing that anybody gave me you can change one thing about the NCAA tournament, it would be to have a few more people be involved in that bench. And it's just the way that it is. But everybody down there's got a job to do. And I just wanted to make sure before we went out that he understood there was really no way around that. And it's nothing against him at all. But I've had 3 or 4 people tell me, including the guys last night that were near there, Tony La Russa and my friend Dick Strong, they kept talking about how great our guys were at calling things out. And Maurice is a big part of that. And when you hear something like that, because I'm not tuned into that during the game, I'm tuned into it on the bench. But that's a great thing. Maurice has got a maturity about him. This cannot be easy. And it's so hard. There's no way to be in his shoes when you look at this and you look at that while he's had to endure with those 3 surgeries within 22 months, but he keeps coming back. There's obviously no way he would have been able to play this year. He's never been able to practice with us other than maybe shoot a little bit. But I just, there's no question we want him to have the success that he so, truly and richly deserves moving forward. It's like why it's so hard to deal with when a guy like Verdell Jones puts so much into this, does so much, and then can't play in this. And then you think about where Maurice has been the last couple of years. And again, if we've said so many times to him and his mother said it to him, God doesn't give you anything that you can't handle. And I think Maurice is living proof of that, and really, really proud of the way he's continued to respond and mature this season.
There and then down in front.
Coach Alex Bozich inside the hall. Just what about their pressure makes them so effective at what they do? A lot of teams obviously maybe try to press, but VCU seems to be able to do it better than anybody. What have you seen kind of out of their pressure that makes it so effective?
Well, it's their length, and you grew up in Louisville, so you know what that length has been like with what Rick has done with those presses at Louisville, because it's the intensity of it. It's that there's a toughness to it, but it's really, really hard to play against that kind of length. And they have tremendous length, and I think they do an excellent job of pushing you in a spot. Their traps are really hard-nosed. They close their traps. They're constantly coming at you if you get it advanced with the back-tipping procedures. So you've got to do a great job of catching the ball where you want to catch it. If you catch it where they want you to catch it, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be in the deep corner. There's going to be 2 defenders that are live, and there's going to be a baseline and a sideline line that now turn into 4 people. And we've watched so much film where people have been in that situation, and there's no way to capitalize on that. So where you catch it, what you do on the next pass, those are the most important things. Your fundamentals really come into play, getting the ball out in front, reversing the basketball, head up, all those types of things. But if you asked one question, I think it's their length, or one reason, I think it's their length.
Coach, I'm not asking for any specifics, but what was kind of the overall message that Tony La Russa gave the team yesterday? Well,
there were a couple different ones, and this is why when you can have speakers that can give you real-life situations, there's nothing like it. It was like this when Jim and John, my brother-in-laws, were in a while back. He really talked about things that made their Cardinals team special, and the messages that he gave them. And when you look at their team, and when you look at how it was just, we got a lot of Cubs fans in there, and he took a few shots at them, which is okay. But the bottom line is everybody can respond to a message when they've been through it to a degree. That team was really, they were close to being out of it. And there wasn't really a lot of people mid-year, end of the year that were picking them to go anywhere. And their team really rallied around one another, and he gave some of those examples, and I think they hit home with our guys.